everybody, and welcome to today's video. And in today's video, I'll be doing a 2024 election prediction between Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell. These two are both very hated. That's why I'm doing it. Obviously, they're both probably not going to run for president. They both hold positions of power in Congress for their party, high positions of power, speaker, former majority leader, current minority leader. Pelosi is probably about to be the minority leader in the House after 2022, and then McConnell will probably stay Senate Minority Leader. But they are both not very popular. They're both seen as establishmentarian figures. They're very unpopular. Both of them are very unpopular with members of the other party, but also very popular with members of their own party that are farther to their side of the aisle. McConnell is definitely very unpopular with Trumpists, and Pelosi is not very popular with progressives. So, let's get started. By the way, I'm gonna try to do this video kind of quickly. I have a very important chemistry quiz, or big, it's a weird assessment, but it's basically, it's very big. It's not quite like because I'm remote right now, so it's not like anything big, because we're not really doing anything, this year, but it's definitely, gonna be important. I don't want to be up for ages, especially as I am feeling this a bit late because I had ELA homework. So yeah, that's my school life. No, okay, I'm just labeling all of Pelosi's likely states. So I'm gonna try. I'm able to sleep in more tomorrow, but I'm gonna try to get this out quickly. For Colorado and New Mexico, honestly, both of them. Colorado's just gonna be farther to the left than New Mexico. New Mexico is gonna see significantly less turnout from the working class, but McConnell's gonna get significantly less turnout from white rural voters, and Pelosi's gonna get significantly less turnout from Hispanic and Latino voters. I could see a scenario in which McConnell gets enough anti-Pelosi turnout, whereas Pelosi can't turn out enough Hispanic and Latino voters to go against McConnell. Because obviously, I could see it happening from Pelosi, but either way, it's probably still going to be likely. In Virginia, they're both really weak candidates. Honestly, they're both really weak all across the board. Like, they're both just terrible candidates. But Pelosi in Virginia, she's not, she's bad with the black vote, I just hit my mic with my, mouth again. That's probably her strongest point. Maybe in the suburbs. I don't even know. She's not very good in the suburbs either. That may be her strong point with black voters. She's not very good with them, though. McConnell's not going to get hardly any rural turnout, and she's going to do really poorly. They're both going to do really poorly in the D.C. suburbs. New Hampshire, Pelosi's going to retain just enough rural turnout to be able to keep it likely. Man at large, pretty inelastic. There's going to be hardly any rural turnout. For McConnell's likely states, he gets Kansas, South Carolina, and Alaska. In Kansas, there's going to be hardly any rural turnout, and there's also going to be hardly any suburban turnout. Honestly, it's just going to be a lot less turnout. But Pelosi is going to retain just enough turnout in Wichita to probably narrow it slightly. South Carolina, once again, her strong suit is with black voters. Not her strong suit. Her least weak spot is with black voters. Whereas McConnell's, maybe his weakest spot is with white rural voters, just in the sense he can't turn out enough. Which could, obviously, he's also really weak with, the thing that's probably going to be most detrimental to him is his weakness with white rural voters. He's probably the weakest, with black voters. But it's probably going to end up being, R+8. In Alaska, they're both really bad with, oil workers, and we're going to see Pelosi get just enough, more, Native American, not Hispanic, and Latino turnout, in Alaska to be able to probably shift it a tiny bit to the left. Once again, these candidates are really bad candidates. I don't know if I can stress that enough. They are awful candidates. I don't know if either of them would actually have to win an election against anybody other than them. For Pelosi's lean states, Nevada, Minnesota, Nebraska second, and Michigan. In Nevada, she's going to retain enough Hispanic and Latino turnout, whereas McConnell's going to lose, significantly more white rural turnout. Nebraska second, there's just not going to be a whole lot of turnout across the board, and it'll probably narrow it up. Minnesota, I mean, like, it could be likely. Thing is, they're both going to do really poorly with the working class. McConnell might do better with the working class just because Pelosi's such an awful working class candidate, but he's hardly going to get any turnout. Honestly, I don't even know if he would. Actually, I'm going to give it to Pelosi likely just because she's going to be able to retain enough turnout from Minneapolis to narrowly hang on to it likely. Michigan, she's going to retain enough turnout from Detroit, whereas McConnell's going to do really poorly with the working class. So for McConnell's lean states, the first one is going to be kind of surprising is Arizona. And then Florida, Texas. I like how I do Texas and say Florida and then vice versa, but whatever. Like, it's just weird that I would do that. I don't really have an opinion of it. It's just kind of strange. That I would do it. In that order. It's just very weird. I don't necessarily know that I like it. It's just very, very odd that I would label them in that order. I feel like I do that frequently. I feel like I think I've labeled like Wisconsin and North Carolina, like Wisconsin, North Carolina. I don't even know. I'm talking a lot tonight. Sorry, this is just very random. Anyways, in Arizona, McConnell's better for the suburbs in Arizona. Pelosi is going to be horrendous in the suburbs, whereas McConnell or in Arizona's traditionally conservative suburbs. Whereas McConnell will be able to get enough traditional conservative vote. He's a lot like Ben Sasse in the sense that he kind of represents them, although McConnell's more pro-Trump than Sasse, and according to VoteView, significantly more moderate, which is very strange. Like, Kevin Cramer is like a devoted Trumpist, but according to VoteView, he's one of the more moderate Republicans, which is strange. Anyways, that was just Kevin Cramer. But Pelosi's not going to get enough Hispanic and Latino turnout either. In Texas, Texas, they're both awful candidates for a state like Texas. Pelosi's horrendous with rural voters, not amazing for the suburbs, and produce average with Hispanic and Latino voters. Whereas McConnell, honestly, she's still pretty bad with them. While McConnell is awful for rural voters, awful in the suburbs, and awful with Hispanic and Latino voters, I think at this point it's too conservative. It'll probably end up being like R+2 in Florida. Once again, they're both really bad. McConnell and Pelosi are both pretty bad with Hispanic and Latino voters. We're likely going to see Miami shift to the left, but hardly any turnout from Miami. And they're both really weak in the suburbs. It does have this Republican lean, though. So I'm going to give it to McConnell. Iowa, Ohio, and Maine second. They're both really bad candidates. I just think that McConnell's going to retain enough rural support. They're probably going to all be like R+3-ish. I'm sorry, I just hit my mouth against my mic again. Once again, please let me know if you guys can hear me hitting my mouth against my mic. But Pelosi's gonna retain enough urban turnout to narrow it, and McConnell, they're just really awful candidates. When you have two candidates that are this just awful, it is really hard to make a call because they're just such horrendous candidates. It's weird. Like, whenever I'm doing something, like, between two good candidates, like, DeSantis and Sherrod Brown, or Sherrod Brown and Trump, or Trump and Tammy Baldwin, or something like that, it's easy because they're good, but with them, they're just both so bad, it's hard to see either of them actually winning these states. It's very difficult. For Pelosi's tilt states, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, McConnell will get North Carolina. Virginia is not red. It is likely blue. Wisconsin, Pelosi's going to do really bad with the working class, but so is McConnell, and he's just not going to take enough turnout. It's really hard to do anything like this. They're just such awful candidates. It's so hard. In Pennsylvania, similar thing. Pelosi really weak in rural areas. McConnell will be able to get enough turnout. Actually, I'm going to give it to Arlene. She'll be able to retain enough turnout in Philly. In Georgia, Pelosi is going to do really bad with the black vote. Or not horrendous. It's probably a strong suit. Once again, I guess not weakest area, which is not really a strong suit. But then she is, she's really bad in rural areas, but McConnell's also really bad in rural areas, so he won't get a lot of rural turnout, and he's really bad in Atlanta. So it's just going to nearly go to Pelosi. North Carolina, they're both really bad with the working class. The working class's share of the electorate probably won't be relevant at this point, given how bad they are and how little turnout there will be. With rural voters, McConnell's going to get less rural turnout. Pelosi is going to retain enough urban turnout to narrow it up. But she is really bad with McConnell's really bad with black voters, and she's like, once again, black voters, that may be her strong suit, but she's still not very good with them. Um, she's just such an awful candidate. It's really hard because they're both really terrible candidates. Like, they are just bad all across the board, and I have like no idea how to do anything like this. Honestly, there may just be no one turning out to vote. Like, I don't even know. They're really bad candidates. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like below. Stay tuned for my next video tomorrow. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.